Not really. I was
The
trying to
Simpsons is entering season 37, and co-showrunner Matt Selman is making one thing clear. The show won't chase chaotic, ultra-topical stories like South Park. While South Park can create episodes in just 7 days, The Simpsons works months in advance, meaning it can't and won't dive into fast-moving political drama or headline-of-the-week chaos. Selman explains that writing nearly a year ahead forces the writers to avoid fleeting news cycles. We're not going to do a big show where the president comes to town. We just don't do big topical things, because the topical is so chaotic and nuts. Instead, Season 37 will continue exploring bigger trends, nostalgic ideas, and cultural shifts, like its premiere episode featuring Marge's 90s memories and Homer joking about how fast movies hit streaming. Meanwhile, in the animation world, Family Guy continues drawing comparisons to The Simpsons. Fans have long joked about Family Guy borrowing heavily from its older rival, from Peter Griffin mirroring Homer to Carter Pewterschmidt echoing Mr. Burns. Characters like Tom Tucker, Seamus, Dr. Hartman, and Principal Shepard all share clear DNA with Kent Brockman, the Sea Captain, Dr. Nick, and Principal Skinner. While Family Guy has grown more chaotic and outlandish, the influence of The Simpsons remains undeniable. In other Simpsons news, the franchise continues shaping pop culture. A new 30-question superfan quiz is challenging longtime viewers. Fans are reminiscing about the iconic 1990 album The Simpsons Sing the Blues, which spawned the global hit, Do the Bartman. And over in gaming, the massive Fortnite x The Simpsons crossover has thrilled players, though many believe it missed major opportunities, from lacking classic skins to leaving out iconic map locations, weapons, and vehicles. Hey lovely viewers, welcome to our channel The Simpsons 24 Hours. The Simpsons isn't changing to do big topical things like South Park, cause the topical is so chaotic and nuts. The Simpsons co-showrunner has discussed how the long-running series will continue to treat topical issues as its 37th season begins. Unlike fellow animated series South Park, which has previously aired episodes made from scratch in just 7 days and enjoyed huge ratings this season after featuring notable criticism of President Trump, The Simpsons is made using a more traditional model, with scripts written months before episodes are broadcast. This means The Simpsons has always been limited in how topical it can be, and there's seemingly no desire for this to change, according to co-showrunner Matt Selman. We're not going to do a big show where the president comes to town. We did do that, but he was George Bush and he'd been out of office for quite some time, Selman told Entertainment Weekly. And, we just don't do big topical things, because the topical is so chaotic and nuts. So we have to look at the bigger trends. The Simpsons' latest season began last night with Thrifty Ways to Thieve Your Mother, in which Marge reminisces about the 90s, while Homer reflects on the pace of movies ending up on streaming platforms. In other words, unsurprisingly, President Trump's genitalia was kept out of sight. When you write a show that doesn't come out until 10 months after you write it, it kind of takes the pressure off, because who knows what the F we're going to be looking at in 10 months, Selman said. South Park, they make their show in a week, and even they can't stay up to date on things. More crazy-s goes down faster than even they can do it. 8 Family Guy characters and the Simpsons characters they ripped off. Family Guy was transparently conceived as a Simpsons copycat, and it ripped off a lot of specific characters, both major and minor. Both shows have joked about Family Guy borrowing from The Simpsons. In Family Guy, Peter Griffin drunkenly confesses that they stole a lot from The Simpsons, and The Simpsons openly accused Family Guy of plagiarismo. There are some wholly original characters in Family Guy. The Simpsons doesn't have a talking dog like Brian, or a diabolical baby like Stewie, or a lovable pervert like Herbert. But a lot of Family Guy's characters emulate familiar archetypes that originated in The Simpsons, from the hard-drinking blue-collar dad to the comically incompetent doctor to the grizzled sea captain. Peter Griffin, HomerSimpson. The most obvious parallel between Family Guy and The Simpsons is that Peter Griffin is basically Homer Simpson with a different name. He has a blue-collar job he's not qualified for, he'd rather spend his time drinking with his friends than raising his kids, and his marriage is constantly in jeopardy. Peter is a darkened version of Homer. He's Homer with all the lovable and wholesome qualities removed. Whereas it's clear that Homer really loves his wife and kids, Peter has said many times that he doesn't like his kids, and he's looking for a way out of his marriage. Carter Pewterschmidt, Mr. Burns. Family Guy was transparently conceived as a Simpsons copycat, and it ripped off a lot of specific characters, both major and minor. Both shows have joked about Family Guy borrowing from The Simpsons. In Family Guy, Peter Griffin drunkenly confesses that they stole a lot from The Simpsons, and The Simpsons openly accused Family Guy of plagiarismo. There are some wholly original characters in Family Guy. The Simpsons doesn't have a talking dog like Brian, or a diabolical baby like Stewie, or a lovable pervert like Herbert. But a lot of Family Guy's characters emulate familiar archetypes that originated in The Simpsons, from the hard-drinking blue-collar dad to the comically incompetent doctor to the grizzled sea captain. Peter Griffin, Homer Simpson. Split image of Homer Simpson and Peter Griffin. The most obvious parallel between Family Guy and The Simpsons is that Peter Griffin is basically Homer Simpson with a different name. He has a blue-collar job he's not qualified for. He'd rather spend his time drinking with his friends than raising his kids, and his marriage is constantly in jeopardy. Peter is a darkened version of Homer. He's Homer with all the lovable and wholesome qualities removed. Whereas it's clear that Homer really loves his wife and kids, Peter has said many times that he doesn't like his kids, and he's looking for a way out of his marriage. Carter Pewterschmidt, Mr. Burns. Split image of Carter and Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns is one of the funniest characters in The Simpsons, because he combines the spoils of three lucrative comedic wells. He's absurdly rich, absurdly old, and absurdly evil. Family Guy has a character like that, the unscrupulous industrialist with unlimited funds and limited sympathy, but there's the added twist that he's Peter's father-in-law, not his boss. Carter Pewterschmidt is so morally bankrupt that, even after his labs produce a cure for cancer, he keeps it under wraps because there's more money to be made treating cancer than curing it. At least Mr. Burns has a heart, even if it's a withered Grinch heart. Unlike Carter, Mr. Burns occasionally does the right thing. Tom Tucker, Kent Brockman. Both The Simpsons and the Griffins get their news from a trusted local newsman. The Simpsons watch Kent Brockman's weekday news broadcasts on Channel 6, and the Griffins watch mustachioed anchorman Tom Tucker on Quahog 5 News. While they serve the same comedic purpose in their respective shows and both provide useful exposition, there are a few key differences between these characters. Whereas Kent is specifically based on real-life broadcaster Walter Cronkite, the most trusted man in America for 2 straight decades, Tom is more of a generic news anchor character. Kent reads the news alone, but Tom has a co-anchor, first Diane Simmons and later, after Diane went on a murder spree in the Agatha Christie-style whodunit episode. Spoiler alert. Diane didn't. Joyce Kinney. Seamus, the sea captain. Both The Simpsons and Family Guy have satirized the old stock character of the salty sea dog, the Ahab-style sailor who's seen terrible things on the high seas. The Simpsons has the sea captain, or Captain McAllister, a former treasure hunter with 2 glass eyes, a permanent squint, and a proclivity to smoke a corncob pipe. The Simpsons sea captain character took all the best sea dog traits, so Family Guy took the absurdity one step further. In Family Guy, Seamus doesn't just have 1 wooden leg. He has 2 wooden legs and 2 wooden arms. When Peter saw him naked in a sauna, his entire torso turned out to be a block of wood. Lois Griffin, Marge Simpson. Just as Peter is a boorish, dim-witted slob like Homer, Lois is a frustrated, overworked homemaker like Marge. Much like Marge, Lois is left to do all the housework and child-rearing single-handedly, while her husband is out getting into wacky antics. Both of these dysfunctional marriages hark back to classic TV couples like Ralph and Alice Cramden and Fred and Wilma Flintstone. The longer Family Guy has gone on, the less Lois is modeled after Marge. She's become a negligent parent in her own way, day drinking and verbally abusing her children, and many of her storylines depict her as a woman on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Marge is a lot better at keeping her anger bottled up than Lois. Horace Moe. Both Homer and Peter have a local watering hole where they spend their evenings knocking back beers with their friends. Homer goes to Moe's Tavern, a grimy little dive bar, and Peter goes to the Drunken Clam, a slightly nicer, slightly more modern chain-style pub. At both of these bars, the bartender is both a confidant for the show's protagonist and a miserable cynic. Family Guy's Horace isn't quite as cartoonishly depressed as The Simpsons' Moe Zeislak, but he's rarely seen with a smile on his face. Horace was eventually killed off and replaced with a more distinctive and unique character, Lois' ex-boyfriend Jerome, who's nothing like Moe. Principal Shepherd, Principal Skinner. The Simpsons has satirized every cliché of fusty old headmasters and all stuffy educators who take their jobs too seriously in general through the character of Principal Skinner. Family Guy's version of this character, Principal Shepherd, is much less straight-laced than Skinner, but he falls into the same archetype. Principal Shepherd has notorious coffee breath, he goes through a bitter divorce, and he doesn't mince words when he's talking to his students. Gary Cole plays the part with the same hilarious deadpan that Harry Shearer brings to our beloved Seymour. Dr. Hartman, Dr. Nick. There are two major doctor characters in The Simpsons: Dr. Hibbert, the family's usual physician, and Dr. Nick Riviera, the barely qualified MD the Simpsons have to hire when they can't afford anyone else. Family Guy's Dr. Hartman combines the two. He's the family physician, like Dr. Hibbert, but he's hilariously inept, like Dr. Nick. In early episodes, he had the professionalism and deadpan demeanor of Dr. Hibbert, like when Peter didn't know what a prostate exam would entail. But in more recent Family Guy episodes, Dr. Hartman has gone full Dr. Nick. He doesn't understand human anatomy. He tries to replace one human kidney with two dog kidneys, and he leaves his cell phone inside Joe's back. I was debating whether to write this article or not. I discovered the news of NREL's name being changed from the National Renewable Energy Laboratory to the National Laboratory of the Rockies from Michael Barnard's article about it yesterday. That article is a much more professional look at the situation and the history of the laboratory. This one is going to be a full-scale venting of how idiotic the United States has become, and particularly the orange/yellow man running the show. First, let's just make this point. Renewable energy is dominating now. Trying to diminish it or be a laggard in adopting and promoting renewable energy is completely, fully, ridiculously idiotic. 92.5% of new power capacity added worldwide in 2024 was from renewable energy power plants. Yes, 92.5%. The majority of that, 77.3%, came from solar power. Donald Trump doesn't think solar panels work. We've got a stable genius there, Renewable energy, especially solar, is now the cheapest option for new power capacity in most places. That's why it dominates new power capacity. It is also much quicker to build and doesn't cause cancer, asthma, heart disease, or premature death among people living near the power plants. So, first of all, it's just weird and dumb for the Trump administration to require that the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, NREL, be renamed the National Laboratory of the Rockies, NLR. Why would you want to go backward? Why would you want to do everything in your power to look like a technology laggard, a super laggard for that matter, by renaming a scientific laboratory that was at the forefront of a major, wildly successful industry forming? Also take note of this point from one of our readers, Matthew 23:12, which was added under Michael's article. NREL was started under a Republican president, Ford, elevated, expanded and renamed NREL under a Republican president, G.H.W. Bush. Significantly expanded under G.W. Bush's Advanced Energy Initiative, which also yielded the 2008 Act that created EV tax credits. We used to be able to agree on things that were good for the country and its future. Not anymore. Indeed. How far we've fallen. Wasting time on this renaming of a laboratory that's been in place for nearly 50 years is such a useless waste of time. For what reason? To show that you're the king of dirty, polluting, expensive energy sources? Think you know The Simpsons? Test your Springfield knowledge with this superfan quiz. You don't need to have watched the animated pop cultural phenomenon that is The Simpsons to know all about it. Whether you're familiar with the family members, the wider community of Springfield, or the way it seems to be oddly prescient from time to time, the animated sitcom has become a cultural phenomenon. But if you have seen The Simpsons, have you been paying attention, or do you need to figure out how to watch The Simpsons again? Have you just seen a snippet or two, or do you know the best Simpsons episodes inside and out? That's what I'm here to determine, with a 30-question quiz designed to test your knowledge on the classic animated show. Questions will start easy and get harder towards the end of the run. These questions will test every facet of your Simpson knowledge, from the characters and plot lines to voice actors, episodes, and world of the show. And we'll see how well you stack up. Are you a brainiac like Lisa, or do you take after Homer a little more? On this day in 1990, The Simpsons released an album with chart-topping single, Do the Bartman. The Simpsons was in its second season when its first album dropped, selling millions and sparking a cultural phenomenon around the Bartman. December 4th, 1990, was a special day for anyone on the ground floor of the Simpsons fandom. 2 months after the premiere of Season 2, the show's first album, The Simpsons Sing the Blues, dropped just in time for Christmas. If anyone needs their memory refreshed, this album produced the lead single Do the Bartman, which quickly became a cultural phenomenon. The entire album went double platinum in the US after just 2 weeks. Additionally, Do the Bartman topped the UK singles chart in 1991 for a handful of weeks. The concept of a fictional animated family making a hugely popular album sparked a run of copycats in the industry. Barbie, the Mario Brothers, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, even Sebastian from The Little Mermaid. Anyone with some sort of animated franchise wanted in on the fast-selling success of The Simpsons Sing the Blues. Even before its official release, The Simpsons Sing the Blues gained enormous publicity. Mostly this was due to rumors of celebrity guests, notably Michael Jackson. While this turned out to be true, as Jackson provided backing vocals on Do the Bartman, Fox execs wanted to keep this a secret during negotiations. Still, the news leaked, and publicity around the album grew. "Oh, it's so frustrating," said Matt Groening in a September 1990 interview. "I said to a reporter a while ago that I would like to have Michael Jackson on the album, and it was printed as if it was true." The Simpsons Sing the Blues sparks a cultural phenomenon led by the Bartman. The Simpsons Sing the Blues explored several different musical styles through cover songs and originals. There were also some big-name guest artists. Joe Walsh of the Eagles and Buster Poindexter of the New York Dolls both played guitar on a rendition of School Day by Chuck Berry. B.B. King also played guitar on Born Under a Bad Sign, originally by Albert King. And John Sebastian of Love and Spoonful provided harmonica on Mona Lisa Blues. Of course, there was also Michael Jackson on Do the Bartman, which led to a popular dance of the same name. Not only did Jackson provide vocals, but he also wrote and co-produced the song anonymously. It wasn't until around 1996 that Matt Groening revealed Jackson's true involvement, expressing surprise that no one ever figured it out. Meanwhile, Bart Simpson's 2 rap songs, Do the Bartman and Deep, Deep Trouble, were in response to the Black community's embrace of the character. It was somewhat of an homage to Bart's resonance with Black youth in America. A 1990 article in the Washington Post about the bootleg Bart Simpson t-shirts that flooded New York City noted this phenomenon. "I think the Bart character is appealing because I don't want to say he's kind of black. I don't mean that," said Harry Allen, publicist for Public Enemy at the time. "He's just got some very unusual characteristics, from his haircut to his use of the word homeboy infrequently, to even his general sassiness." Allen, described as an avid fan of The Simpsons, which was the most attention I give white people during the course of a week, noted the show's portrayal of averageness. Specifically, he said its lack of pretension just resonates in general with the way Black people view the world. 5 things that Simpsons X Fortnite could have done better. The Simpsons X Fortnite collab began on November 1st and will end on November 29th with the 0-hour event. Despite the mini-season being a big success with players, there could have been far more items and skins to buy as the month progressed. But there have been plenty of cosmetics to buy in the Fortnite item shop, such as Krusty the Clown, music tracks, and more from The Simpsons. As the Simpsons X Fortnite collab ends later today, there's been plenty to like for longtime fans of the animated show, as well as players of Epic Games' free-to-play Battle Royale. Launching on November 1st and ending with the 0-hour event in a few short hours, the mini-season has been a huge success, with roughly 2.5 million players daily, a rise of 700,000 from the previous month. But as with many things, there's always room for improvement. The Simpsons X Fortnite collab isn't immune to this, with a bunch of opportunities missed, regardless of how good Springfield took over the Fortnite map over the month. With this in mind, we're listing 5 things below that could have made the mini-season one of Fortnite's very best. 1 more character skins over the month. Many characters have been made available to purchase in the Fortnite item shop, but nowhere near as many as fans were hoping to see. Krusty the Clown, Mo the Bartender, and the in-universe cartoon Itchy and Scratchy have been available, but there could have been far more. From one of the Stonecutter's cult members, to Smithers, Snake the Robber, and others like Chief Wiggum and Principal Skinner. It's a shame that more skins weren't available to buy in this mini-season. In addition, the skins for earning all the Battle Pass rewards were Homer, as well as Homer covered in radioactive goo. It was disappointing, and there could have been a real opportunity for another character to be the reward, such as villain Hank Scorpio or Poochie. 2 more iconic map locations make no mistake. The transformation of Fortnite's map into Springfield, along with the cel-shaded look to better reflect the animated show, has been impressive. Being able to visit places like the power plant, Camp Krusty, and the Simpsons' home and neighborhood has been very fun. However, one can't help but feel that there could have been far more places on the map that could have appeared throughout the mini-season. For example, Itchy and Scratchy Land that appeared in Season 6, or the television studio that houses Krusty the Clown, the news reporter Kent Brockman, and many more, as well as Mount Splashmore from Season 2. All of these could have appeared after one of the animated shorts aired, complete with new missions and new characters to hire as support. Instead, we got the same map, but with purple radioactive goo towards the end, which left a few players feeling slightly disappointed. 3 more weapons from the show. Granted, there have been a couple of weapons, like Krusty's Mr. Blasty Gun, as well as a few items made available as axes, such as the Homer Wonderbat from Season 2 and an Itchy and Scratchy cartoon axe. However, one can't help but feel that far more could have been made available from November 1st. From Homer's bowling ball as a throwable weapon, to the inanimate carbon rod, as well as Ned Flanders' left-handed nunchucks from the Season 3 episode, When Flanders Failed. There could have been many more rare weapons that could have lasted for the entirety of the Fortnite x Simpsons crossover. Instead, players could use 4 weapons inspired by the show, which feels like a missed opportunity. 4. Not enough vehicles from the Simpsons. Vehicles in Fortnite have been a huge feature of the free-to-play game since they arrived in August 2020. They've slowly evolved from being shopping carts and cars to gunships and even the Power Rangers Megazord from the previous season. But for the Simpsons X Fortnite mini-season, to say there haven't been many vehicles to use from the show is an understatement. Like the lack of unique weapons, there could have been a plethora of vehicles to choose from. From the Plow King truck to the Canyonero and Chief Wiggum's police cruiser, as well as the left-handed roadster that Mr. Burns buys from the Season 3 episode, When Flanders Failed, Epic Games would have been spoilt for choice here. Instead, players were limited to the Simpsons family car. 5. More bosses could have been a home run. Thanks for watching this videos. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.